What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and today we are going to talk about whether or not the Indianapolis Colts 2021 season is going to be a disappointment, or could they legitimately be contenders? We'll talk about that right after this.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? And yeah, so that's an interesting topic. I thought about going over that because let's face it, the Colts ain't the same team they were last year when they had a top 10 defense, top 10 offense, and a well-respected quarterback, right? They play different teams this year, and they had specific players on the team that they don't have this season. I mean, we know we most likely won't have Malik Hooker on the defense, which I understand. We have Julian Blackmon. We won't have Anthony Walker Jr., right? And a lot of you are going to say, well, we got Bobby Okereke. Bobby Okereke's better in the pass defense, but Anthony Walker, his leadership on the field and in the locker room, his respect, and the fact that he is a very, very good run stopper that will affect the play on the field. Let's not forget, we don't have a defensive end 1 or a defensive end 2. Danico Autry signed with the Titans. Justin Houston's still a free agent. We're definitely worse off in the pass rush currently. And then, of course, we still haven't got the answer for left tackle. And at quarterback, we still have yet to find out whether or not Carson Wentz can turn his game back around after leaving the Philadelphia Eagles in that bad 2020 season he had with that team. I'm telling you, when you put everything together, you really, think about this. The Colts could come out of this draft without a legit number 1 pass rusher. Yes, there are some pass rushers that I like in this draft, but it's possible every single one of them are gone by the time they pick at 21, right? Everyone, I can see Pay, I can see Greg, I can see Phillips, I can see all those guys gone at 21. And sure, we should have the left tackle position locked and sewn up in this draft. But the pass rush position is a big question mark. Don't forget, we don't have TJ Carey anymore currently to help out Rock when he starts to have issues. If he starts having issues like he has the last couple seasons. That's a scary situation. Alpha brings up a good question. Have you gone back and watched every game Wentz played last year? Absolutely. I put out a film room on Wentz if you wanted to go and check that out. I actually looked at it. And yes, there are some things that obviously his situation and the players around him and the play calls were, working against him. But at the same time, there were things that he did that had me scratching my head as well. So just saying. I'm issue. Huge issue. Ricky Freezer, I understand you're huge on pass rush. I can't really be upset too much about him not signing one because I could see him offering money for guys. But we all know Ballard doesn't go over what he wants. And we don't know if he believed that some of the guys we wanted were right fits for the Colts. I loved Yannick Ngakoue, but that doesn't mean that Chris Ballard wanted him. He might not have seen him as a fit. And so on and so forth. I like a couple guys in this draft. I like 4 guys in this draft. That doesn't necessarily mean the Colts will get them because they could legitimately be gone by then. So That's a huge question mark. I fully believe that left tackle will be filled, though. Now, so I don't have a problem with the offense. I have a problem with this defense, though. I'm really scared of that defense. Legitimately, if we can't get better than the number 20 pass rush, which is what we had when it comes to quarterback pressures last year, if we can't do better than that against the schedule we have this year, the Colts are going to have to score an average of 7 points or more a game, in my opinion, in order to legitimately have a shot at having a winning record. Let's look at some of these. Let's look at some of these games that we actually have to play, because it is ridiculous. Obviously, the Texans, but man, I understand the Texans are in turmoil right now. But let's just assume for a moment that Deshaun Watson stays with the Texans and is playing. We all know what kind of player Deshaun Watson is. If you can't get pressure on him and bring him down, he's going to eat a secondary up all day long. We know this. I hate to say it, but that's a scary situation. The Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence over Gardner Minshew. We went to Jacksonville last year. We seen what that offense it can be like, right? Now imagine Trevor Lawrence instead of Gardner Minshew there, right? They have got really good offensive playmakers over there between Chark and Chenault and James and a few other guys. I think they picked up a big name receiver also in free agency. So, they'll be able to put points on the board if we can't get pressure on Lawrence. The Tennessee Titans, oh my God. I don't even want to talk about how dangerous that team is without getting pressure on them. Being able to get pressure with our front four. Because if Derrick Henry runs all day on us, I mean, good Lord, Tannehill is a pretty accurate quarterback, and he's a darn good game manager, and he's still got some weapons to throw to there too. Now let's talk about some of the teams that we have that we normally wouldn't be playing. Obviously, yes, we got the Jets, okay? Might mark that up as an automatic win. I wouldn't, because we figured, Jacksonville might be an automatic win last year, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Never underestimate a team, right? The New England Patriots, they went out and just bought an offense, right? Legitimately bought an offense, and they've got one of the best defenses in the NFL. And they went out, they had one of the best pass defenses in the NFL, and then they went out and bought guys to help pass the rusher or rush the passer. That's interesting. And then Henry Anderson, they picked up to clog the middle, when we all know what kind of guy he is against the run. He was very good, just didn't have the pass rush, didn't fit in a 4-3 scheme. So that game worries me a little bit. Go look at the Seattle Seahawks. Holy crap, that's Russell Wilson. You can't get pressure on him. He's going to chew you up all day long. The Rams, they got a ton of offensive weapons, the number one defense in the NFL. And now they've got Matt Stafford throwing the football instead of Jared Goff. Ew. Now, we've played the Raiders. This will be, I think, the third year in a row that we've played the Raiders. I'm pretty sure. That's something interesting. But again, they got explosive players over there. And if Carr could play like he did last year, we've seen what he could do. We already know about Buffalo. Buffalo is an explosive offense. I mean, we saw him in the freaking AFC wildcard game, almost beat them. But we had Autry and we had Houston. We had Walker. We don't have those guys anymore. Miami's on the up and up. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, they got a high-powered offense and two bookend pass rushers. San Francisco is built, believe it or not, a lot like the Colts, except they have question marks. Their quarterback, which they'll probably end up drafting one this year because they picked pretty high. And then we remember, obviously, every single one of us remember what happened in the Baltimore game when we were blowing them out in the first half. And then all of a sudden, Lamar Jackson just flipped the switch, made this huge comeback and beat us. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. So every game, except maybe the Texans, home against the Texans and the Jets, are games that I'm looking at and going, yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup if we don't have any pass rushers, right? If we don't have a legit pass rush. I mean, when you look at teams like San Francisco and Baltimore and the Rams, teams with really good defenses, do you honestly expect the Colts to hold back, be able to score 28, 30 points against defenses like that? Because that's probably what the Colts will need if they don't have really good bookend pass, at least one solid pass rusher. Yes, I understand that DeForest Buckner is solid up the middle, but we need edge rushers. We need guys who can seal an edge for the run and contain mobile quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, like Lamar Jackson, like Deshaun Watson, right? Even Ryan Tannehill is a mobile quarterback. I mean, come on, guys. Tua is mobile. I get you guys think that he's not, some of you think he's overrated. That's fine. I mean, he didn't have a same situation. He didn't have a preseason. He just got into the NFL and didn't even have any time to work. He'll have a complete offseason this year to get used to him. Let's talk about Josh Allen. Good Lord. And most likely San Francisco is going to get themselves a nice quarterback in the draft. So, yeah, without a pass rush, this is a scary situation. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they can control a clock with their offense to help keep some of these high-powered offenses like the Cardinals or the Seahawks or the Bills on the sideline by just power running because, I mean, Indy's got one of the best. Let me get that off of here. Indy's got one of the best running back stables in the NFL, in my opinion. Easily one of the best. Because, I mean, you look at Jonathan Taylor, 1,000-yard rusher last year. The year before that, Marlon Mack was a 1,000-yard rusher. Naheem Hines was the leading receiver at running back. Jordan Wilkins has one of the highest yards per carry of any running back in the NFL. That's just an amazing situation we have. And like I said, I honestly believe that the left tackle position will be solved in the draft. But, man, that pass rush, that scares me, man. That scares me. I know we have four young guys. Hold on. You're going to have to, excuse me, this spring weather hitting my sinuses really, really bad. I will try to mute from now on before I sneeze, but it's going to happen a lot. I can already tell. That's why I started late, because I had to go blow my nose because I was sneezing so much. But yeah, let's go back and look at this, because seriously, without looking at our own division, without looking at the Texans, the Jaguars, or the Titans, there is legitimately one. I mean, the Bills made the playoffs last year. Miami barely missed because of the Colts winning. The Cardinals, San Francisco should have, had they been healthy. Baltimore, the Rams, the Seahawks, and New England are all good teams this year, or at least I expect them to be. The Colts are going to have their money's worth, in this situation. It's a scary situation looking at it, especially when we don't have a pass rush. I could see let's say the Colts split their games with their divisional rivals. We'll say that's worst case scenario. Split the games. So they go 3-3 with their divisional rivals. You give them the Jets. So that gives them 4-3. After that, it's questionable on how the Colts end up going. If they win half against all these really good teams, if they win half of them, that'll put them at what? 9-8? Being that it's a 17-week season or 17-game season this year. Because don't forget, we got Tom Brady and the Buccaneers as well on top of this now, right? Tom Brady and the Buccaneers to go on top of that. And they had a great defense, especially in the playoffs. You know, they had one of the best run defenses in football and a very physical pass defense. McChicken Vlogs. What's going on, guy? He says the only gimme looks like the Jets. Don't sleep on the Jags. No, because they ain't got a great defense, but their offense is absolutely fantastic, I think. I mean, is it a top 5 offense? No, but I think they're a top 10 offense. It's just their defense is kind of I don't know. Faye says I think it could be a disappointing season, but I kind of doubt it. I get that. And it legitimately could be. I don't want it to be. I'm just like every Colts fan. I hope to gosh that the Indy goes 13-4, right? And gets like the second or first seed in the AFC. It gets a bye week and all that neat stuff. But no, I doubt it. I mean, I can see them going 9-8 and missing the playoffs. That's a scary situation. Obo SJD says, still need an edge rusher? Yes. And he says a solid number 2 wide receiver. I think we've got plenty of solid receivers. Zach Pascal showed he could be a solid number 2. Michael Pittman is a solid number 2, borderline number 1 if he takes that step this year. And then we've got T.Y. Hilton, who is at least, at the very least, a solid number 2. So we got 3 really good receivers. And then if Paris Campbell can stay healthy, he's a solid number 2. So, yeah, I mean, the Colts got 4 really good receivers if they can stay healthy, in my opinion. Just Plain Folk says, I look at that schedule, I think it comes down to the two Tennessee games to make the playoffs. And you're right. I can't disagree. And yes, 10-7 would most likely win the division. You're right. Brian comes up, says he hopes the Colts land a defensive end in a draft that surprises everyone. I would love to see Phillips or Greg or Pay fall. I doubt it. Because of the depth at tackle, I bet because of the top 4 guys in this draft, I've said this over and over and over, because of the top 4 guys in the draft for pass rushers are like, they set a limit. And then after them, the quality of pass rushers falls dramatically. In my opinion, there's not even a guy there worth a second round pick. Because of that, I think those top pass rushers will all go in the first round, because teams ain't going to be worried about missing out on a left tackle when they know that there's going to be quality tackles in the draft in the second round, probably through the mid-second round. Colts Nation says, I don't like drafting a receiver in the second or round 4 because they probably just be a number 3 receiver, and we already have those. We got a crap ton of number 2s. I think Michael Pittman could take that number 1 as long as he stays healthy. I honestly believe that. I don't have a problem drafting. I don't want a receiver in the second round. If we can get a defensive end in the first and a tackle in the second, then round 4 for a receiver or a tight end is perfectly fine for me. Or even a cornerback, you know. That's how That's how I feel about it. So I don't know. It's my opinion, but it happens. I know that he asks about Owen, and yeah, he had a good pro day, but I'm not a scout, so to speak. So I'm going to leave that up to the Colts scouts on how they feel about him. I actually like Basham because he seems like a guy who is he's not going to bring expert speed off the edge, but he's going to be more like a Justin Houston, where he can seal the edge and keep guys from getting away from him. Plus, he's really good against the run. So that's how I feel about that. Joseph Thornburg says if you can get Pittman in one-on-one situations, he could blow up this year. Absolutely. And he'll get a lot of one-on-one situations because if Paris Campbell and T.Y. Hilton stay healthy, you can't leave guys like that any of those guys on one-on-one situations are nasty players. Campbell because of his speed, T.Y. because he's still got some speed, plus veteran savvy at the receiver position. So, yeah. What's going on, Beatty? Appreciate you being here. I can't give that. TNO Nano 505 asks, how many games do you think we win? I want to see the draft first. Okay? Because currently, as the Colts sit right now, I don't see the Colts winning more than 9 games against this schedule with the roster they currently have. I don't. I see them going 9-8 because they still have situation with, tackle. They still have situation with pass rush on both pass rush sides, and they need depth at corner, in my opinion. I get it. Some of y'all want another tight end. We'll probably get one in the draft, or we'll probably get one out of free agency. Who knows? Zach Ertz still might be in the picture for the Colts if that's someone that you're interested in. Hey, guys, I got 35 people watching live, and we're 23 minutes in. I would love if all of you guys would please right down here, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, share the stream. Little share button down there. You just click copy paste to what your favorite social media, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or whatnot. I'd really, really appreciate that. Hit the notification bell so you're notified next time I go live. I've got a huge announcement in the works in the next week. I know I already posted that announcement Monday about me covering the Indy Express as the broadcast coordinator and live game commentator. But I have a special announcement, hopefully in the works within the next week for specifically the Colts Law podcast. So please make sure you got that notification bell up. And don't forget, in the description of the video, I've got a link to Streamlabs and my Patreon. Now, my Patreon, obviously, it's only $5 a month to be a patron. And you get everything that I post, whether it's on my own channel or if I visit another person's channel, which I do at least 2 or 3 times a week. It's posted on there. Plus, I have specific videos only for patrons that I upload to Patreon. And then, of course, there's a link to Streamlabs where you could donate directly to me. And you could buy my merchandise. I have merchandise on my Streamlabs. I got a hoodie, a t-shirt, and a coffee mug right now of the Colts Law podcast. Yes, there's only 3 of them currently right now, but once I get at least 6 sales, once 6 items sell, I will open it up to more because it costs money for me to open up my merch shop to having more stuff like backpacks, ball caps, stuff like that. So that's how I Once I get 6 items sold, then that'll make me enough money to where I could just open it up fully on my merch shop. Man, I love the coffee mug. I think the Colts logo on that coffee mug is slick as heck. And I actually ordered one. Hopefully it'll come in soon. But yeah. All right. Let's go back to getting that off of there. Colts versus Dolphins is going to be a good game. I honestly think so too. I think it will be. Jacob Perry, this is a real tough schedule. It worries me. But you say 10-7. Now, like I said, this is I say 9-8 only because the draft hasn't happened yet. I want to see what the Colts look like after the draft. Kira Mono Kids. I don't know about winning 9. You're thinking 11-6. If they address the left tackle and get a good pass rusher, I would say 11-6. But man, there are a lot of really, really good football teams we play against this coming season. Which game are you most excited about going to see, by the way, or watch on TV or go to? Don't forget the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady is on this list. And we got a lot of good rivalry games. Obviously, the Tennessee Titans and the Colts have had a really good rivalry over the last couple years. The Buffalo game is going to be a great game, kind of a grudge match because of the wild card matchup we had. Obviously, the New England Patriots is a game that a lot of people are going to circle because of the history between the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. Honestly, the Rams and San Francisco, really good games, really good teams. The Baltimore Ravens, again, a game last season that we lost that I feel like we should have won. That'll be kind of a grudge match as well. So let me hear in the lists down here in the chat. Let me know what game or games you are most excited to watch next season. Don't forget the defending Super Bowl champions, the Tom Brady-neers. Can we go that route? So that'll be interesting. I'm personally, if I had a game that I could only watch one game, or there was a game that I could go live, because currently I have no tickets. If there was a game that I could go to, I would want to go to the Buffalo game or the Patriots game. Patriots because of the history of it. The Buffalo game because of what happened last year. I think Buffalo is a top 2 team in the AFC. They might be the second best team in the NFL, in my opinion. And yet the Colts still took them to the brink in the wild card game. Let's see here what we got. Oh, the missing 3 games on the list called preseason. Yeah, I didn't get that on there. Criminal Kids. That's out. Okay, I mispronounced it earlier. It's Criminal Kids. Says he wants revenge on the Bills. Me too. Joseph says the Colts Bills because he lives. Oh, you live near Buffalo. That'll be a heck of a game. Heck of a game. Ravens and Titans for revenge. Well, remember the Colts beat the Titans the first time around. And you're right, Teddy. Probably Colts always play Cincinnati in preseason. I don't understand why. Titans, Bills, Bucks, Ravens for sure. Absolutely. Matthew Parker says he wants to see the Pats game. Dylan Green says Pats, Bucks, Bills. Yep. Seems to be a little bit of a theme going on here, doesn't there? Ricky says Colts, Bills, and both Titans games. Jacob Perry, I think facing Kyler Murray on the road would be a great game. D-Hop's return to playing the Colts D. Don't forget, there's also another guy on that team, J.J. Watt. We've played him a lot as well. Vlogs, of course, says Pats Colts because he's a Pats fan, So, and didn't you say that you were actually going to come to that game? Somebody told me that. There was a Pats fan that expressed that they were going to be at the Pats Colts game. So that'll be interesting. I don't know home and aways. I haven't looked at that. I haven't seen. Alpha says, don't care. I always want to beat the Titans. Yeah, especially after the draft, right? When Reggie Wayne was talking smack, and then Pat McAfee's like, to be fair, I didn't punt that much against the Titans when I played. You all remember that, right? Colts Nation says he thinks that we could beat the Pats with that quarterback. I'm assuming you're talking about Cam Newton and the Colts having Carson Wentz. I think we can too, but I'm not going to mark it down as a W just because. I feel that the Patriots have vastly improved themselves this past offseason. They got two great tight ends, right? Hunter Henry and Jalen Smith, or Jonu. Sorry, not Jalen. I don't know why I was saying Jalen. But anyhow, they got two really good tight ends. And they address speed at receiver. And they've got a good run game. They had a great run game last year. So they still have that. Brian says, okay, Bills game in Buffalo. I just might take a trip there. My buddy is a Bills fan for sure. He'd love to be surrounded by Bills fans in my Colts gear. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? It's just like some of you guys, live in Tennessee, right? And whenever the Colts go to Nashville and you guys show up to that game wearing your Colts gear, I bet you really have a bad situation going on in that. Maybe I usually go to at least one Pats game a year. All right, that'd be interesting. AFC teams only have one home game this preseason. Okay. What game on the list is most important, do I believe? The first game of the year. Whoever we're playing week 1 is the most important. Because in my opinion, that'll show how much the team has cohesion through the offseason, especially with Carson Wentz. I want to see Wentz come out with good connectivity with his receivers, okay? And trust in the offensive line. That's what I want to see. That's how I want to see. Yeah, there's a lot of people here who hate the Titans. Do you hate the Titans worse? Do you hate the Pats worse? Pittsburgh, Baltimore, San Diego. I mean, the Colts have got a long list of rivals that they've had issues with over the past 4 years. 20 years, sorry. That's Good Sports is hilarious. I watch them too. Yeah, I watch That's Good Sports. Really? There's a lot of Colts fans down in Jacksonville. That's interesting. I did not know that. That's a big deal. I know that we're gaining ground outside of the Indiana area, which is nice. Oh, yeah, that schedule is raunchy. It's funny because they have listed as the 9th easiest schedule because Jacksonville only won one game this year, and then the Houston Texans basically tanked the beginning of their season because they wanted to get rid of Bill O'Brien. And because of that, they have technically the 9th easiest schedule from going back last year. But if you look at it as the teams are currently, before the draft is even going, these teams are going to be really, really good. What's going on? Appreciate you being here, Mr. Hill. Yeah, I know. You meant Wentz when you said Wentz and T.Y. will be good partners. I think so too, because honestly, T.Y. Hilton is a lot like Deshaun Jackson in the way he plays. And Carson Wentz really relied heavily on him for big, deep threats. I think T.Y. will be a go-to guy for him. Harrison Height with a monster question. Would you bet $50 on the Colts that they will finally end the Pats winning streak against us this season? I need to see the draft first. Ask me that question after my draft, after the draft, right? When I run the final draft stream, come back with that question. I'll let you know, because currently it's a really tight, I don't know. All those years getting owned, bound to happen. I like Matthew Parker. What happened? Oh, there it is. I liked Mariota's Titans because how can you hate Mariota? I don't like the Tannehill. Of course you don't like the Tannehill Titans. The Tannehill Titans are a legit offense. I was saying that when he went to the Titans. I was like, Tannehill's going to be better. And then after he took over back in 2019, in the offseason, everybody's like, oh, that was just a fluke. He really wasn't that good. And I was like, go look at the tape, because he really was, you know. And then after the 2020 season, it was obvious. Tannehill was just he was hit with the Gase bug, the Adam Gase bug, which is why I honestly think that Sam Darnold without Gase could legitimately be a very good quarterback. Daphne says the whole season is good teams. It is. And it's scary. McChicken, if you were to run a 40-yard dash right now, what would your time be? I don't know. Something like 8.4 seconds probably. I'm a bit out of shape, man. I smoke cigarettes, right? And so it's rough on me when it comes. I probably run like a 5.1, because I am 45 and I'm a little out of shape. It's not like when I was 25, 30 years ago when I was in high school, right? Playing football. When I was in high school, I ran a 4.7, which isn't terrible for a 6'6" guy that was sitting at about 230. But no, I probably run like a 5.1 now. Yes, if the Colts versus Raiders game's in Vegas, I'm planning on going. That'd be fun because that stadium looks awesome, right? And how could you not have fun in Vegas? I mean, you probably end up you couldn't go to that game without $1,000 in your pocket, right? Because you'll probably spend $300-400 at the game alone, and then Vegas is right there. So you'd have to have at least $1,000 in your pocket to go to that game. If it's in Vegas. Matthew Parker says, am I more worried about playing the AFC East or the NFC West? Hands down. Don't get me wrong. I think Miami's a pretty good team. I think New England has built themselves up compared to last year, and the Bills are probably the second best team in the NFL. But that NFC West is stacked. That's a division that if all four of those teams stay healthy, I could see all four of them having 500 or better records. How could you not say the NFC West? I mean, they are all four really, really good teams. Criminal Kid says that this is a prove it type of. It is. It legitimately is. Avery, what's going on? He says, I hate to say it, but 8-8 is likely. I hope for better, though. Like I said, currently before the draft, as the team sits now, I'm saying 9-7 is best case scenario, or worst case. I see them like 9-7 or 9-8. I mean, because remember, it won't be 8-8 because there's 17 games. What's not on there is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay. Colts Talking More says we're going 11-6. I would not be upset with that. I just can't go that route yet until I see what we're drafting. You know what I mean? I need to see if we get some pass rushers. I need to see where we're getting when it comes to left tackle, whether I think there'll be a good fit there to start or not. I want to see if we get any depth at cornerback, right? There's still a lot of offseason still to go before I could go 11-6. Now, if they get a pass rusher and a good left tackle, first and second round, and maybe get some depth at whether it'll be tight end or cornerback, wide receiver, then absolutely I could see 11-6. Avery says 9-7. Imagine all the NFC West teams making the playoffs. That would mean no other team in the NFC would have a wild card team. Right? There's only 7 teams go. 4 of them will be divisional winners. But, I mean, it's legitimately possible. It's legitimately possible. Matthew Parker says, can I rank the opponent's hardest to easiest for the Colts? That would be kind of like, still, like I said, the offseason's not over with. But from what I'm seeing currently, I got the Rams number 1, hardest. Bills number 2. Tennessee number 3 because they're good and the fact that they know the Colts. Then probably Baltimore, New England, San Francisco, Seattle, only because I don't know about their defense yet. Same with the Cardinals. Miami. I'm going to put the Raiders next, then the Jaguars, then the Texans, then the Jets. That's my list from hardest to easiest. Colts Nation says Rams and Niners are the hardest. Now, I don't know about the Niners because I don't know what they're going to what their quarterback's going to be. If they got Jimmy Garoppolo quarterbacking, then I think the Colts have a better team. I honestly don't like Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. That's just my opinion. Asks about Richard Sherman. Now, I've answered this question a few times in the past. In my opinion, Richard Sherman would be a depth piece. He can't be coming in as a number 1. I could see him as maybe a number 2. He's one of those guys I would bring in if like we go to dime, or because, I mean, our nickel corner is Kenny freaking Moore. But either we go dime, or if Rock Ya-Sin is having a little trouble like he would last year, then put him in there. I wouldn't want Richard. I would love him for the locker room. I think he'd be a great leadership role. Okay. But I wouldn't want him for more than $7-8 million a year. Would I agree that the AFC is more balanced than the NFC? I think on average, the AFC as a division or as a conference is a tougher division than the NFC as a whole. The NFC West is just the best division in football. But then when you go to the other divisions in the NFC, they got huge holes everywhere, right? But when you look at the AFC, each division has at least 2 really good teams in every division. So, yes, I would agree with that statement. B. Luna says we're going to ball out. It's going to be a good season. I really hope so. Honest to goodness, I really, really hope so. Justice Montgomery says we basically have the same team last year's with better depth, except for left tackle, of course. So I don't understand why people think. No, we do not have better depth. Okay, we have our depth at pass rusher, defensive end, got cut by 3/4, in my opinion. Right, both of our starting defensive ends aren't on the team. Our best run-stopping leader of a linebacker in Anthony Walker's not on the team. Our defense has taken a massive hit, and we haven't filled the spots for that yet. So we brought back our offense. We have the same offense minus Carson Wentz for Phillip Rivers, but our defense still has a lot of issues that need to be addressed. Jared Dickinson says, what's up? What's going on? Appreciate you being here. I'm going to take this moment, 46 minutes in, smash that like button. Please smash it. Help me out with the analytics so that this stream can get out there to more people, man. The more people that watch it, the more I'll be able to bring out more stuff. Don't forget, my super chat is on, or at least it should be. So all super chats instantaneously get answered or, brought up. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the notification bell so you're notified next time I go live. Share the stream if you can. Check out the description in the video for my Patreon and my Streamlabs where you could donate there, and check out my merch shop. Please check that out. I got 50 guys live right now. Avery says, let's hope that they come. Let's hope that they are going to come out and prove the doubters wrong. Justice, we did have a little bit of pass rush. It just, honestly, I think there's an issue because we didn't blitz ever, right? Matt Eberflus does not like to blitz. He only wants to send 4 guys, no matter what. And sometimes you just got to send the extra guys. I mean, I think we were the second least, maybe even the first least blitzing team in the NFL last year. What happens to Wentz if he is unfixable and doesn't work out? Easy enough. First off, it becomes a third and a second, because if he doesn't work out, then the Colts will probably put Jacob Eason or somebody in to start the back end of the season, which means it'll drop from we wouldn't have to give the first round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. It'd just be a second round pick. And then after that, you legitimately can release Carson Wentz if you wanted, and it'd be a very small hit. Or you could keep him for the next season, pay him, it was $26 million if need be. And then you could release him basically for nothing the second year. So it's not that big of a hit, okay? But Jacob Eason, we got Jacob Eason back there, and we're hearing a lot of good stuff about him from coaches. So hopefully Carson Wentz doesn't necessarily need to be fixed. That's my opinion. Hopefully he doesn't need to be fixed. Hopefully it was the team around him and the coaching staff and the media that was downplaying Carson Wentz and made him look as bad as he was. Did you hear that Bernard Pollard is making an NFL comeback? No, I did not. What do you think about 2 drafts being away from being serious contenders? I think we're 1 draft. I think we could be serious contenders this year if we get the pass rush and the left tackle answered and Carson Wentz becomes that guy, right? Because I honestly think we've got the guys. Do I think that we're going to be Super Bowl contenders this year? No. But if those 3 things happen, I think we're definitely playoff contenders this season. And I've always said, all you got to do is get in the playoffs. Once you get in the playoffs, everyone there has a shot. Wentz will be fine. He just needs protection and a team who supports him, says TNO Nano 505. I think so too. Mr. Hill says, do you think that our defense is going to be the same next? No. Well, I mean, played the same? Probably, because I have yet to see Matt Eberflus actually do something differently. I think 2019 he blitzed a little bit more than what he normally does, but last year he didn't blitz as much. And player-wise, definitely it's different because we don't have, 3 specific dudes on that defense anymore. Ricky says Wentz seems okay in his interviews. Yes, yeah. He even talks about how Philadelphia made stuff up, the media, while he was there to make him look a lot worse than what he was and say, him and this person was having a bad situation or them and this person was having, and that in fact wasn't it. So, yeah. Nat Ruth says, I'm an Eagles fan. Carson wasn't playing that bad at the beginning of the year. He definitely shares blame, but the play calling and scheme was so bad, Wentz just got worse as the year went on. And then, of course, there was injuries, right? Lots of injuries. So that really kind of hurt Wentz when it come to guys he could rely on offensive line-wise, guys he could throw the football to, running backs, stuff like that. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that by the way, thanks for being here and tagging on that that comment. I really appreciate it. Ricky says that's what the film shows. He did his best given the situation. Go check out my film room about Carson Wentz. It's in my listings. I mean, seriously, he played 12 games and was sacked 50 times. 50. He was on pace to be sacked 75 times in a season. That's going to screw any quarterback in how they play, right? Because you're going to be looking over your shoulder every 3 seconds, every second and a half, for that matter. So, yeah, that's going to mess up anybody. McChicken, yep, if the Colts solidify that left tackle position, Wentz should be fine. I agree. The offense, if that offensive line, if that left tackle comes out, I think the Colts will continue to have a top 10 offense. If we can get that left tackle figured out in the draft or something, yes, I think that the Colts will still have a top 10 offense like they did last year. Joseph said Wentz called his own plays half the time because he would get to the line and realize how bad the play calling was, and he just made his own reads. He just needs to fix his footwork a little bit. I kind of noticed that on the film as well, that when he moves, his whole body, he doesn't keep his shoulders squared up facing the field of play. His whole body turns when he moves in a direction, like he's got a brace on his hips. So that kind of has me a little bit worried about that. Browns fan, Mick the dog, thanks for being here. Appreciate you joining my stream. Browns fan here, I do not at all think what happened in Philly was indicative at all of Wentz. The ability to play quarterback. Wentz's ability to play quarterback. He was on his back 75% of the time. Yeah, that's exactly what I just got done saying. All right. Could Braden Smith going to left tackle be a wild card move? It's an option, just like Quentin Nelson is an option to go to left tackle. It is not an option that I want to see happen. I want to see the Colts go out and get themselves a left tackle, but it's an option. It's one of those situations that can happen if they, like, let's say there's an injury at left tackle, like what happened with Costanzo last season. You could see that, but no, the draft needs to to fill that void. Nat Root says they also had bad lineup when Wentz was at and changed. Oh, when he was in and changed it, they put in Hurts. Mialata, a rugby player, was playing better than Jason Peters, and they refused to leave him in. No, that's just coaching. You can blame a lot of stuff on coaching. That one guy, what's up, that one guy? With the guard we signed from Carolina, do you think we move Nelson? No. You have heard them throw that around. Like I said, it's an option that can be. But honestly, you want Nelson to be where he plays his best, especially with the fact that Nelson is one of the best pulling guards in the NFL. If you drop him at tackle, that limits his ability to pull when it comes to the run game. So that hurts you twofold by moving him from guard to tackle, okay? You want to have him he's a 10 out of 10 at the guard position, and even if he's a 7 or 8 out of 10 at the tackle position, and then you drop like Pinter at guard, and it drops him to like 7 of 10, then you got 2 7 of 10s instead of a 10 of 10 and maybe a 7 of 10 or 6 of 10 if you draft a guy and put him there. You got to look at it that way. Deb Best, who's going to be the backup? Backup at what? Are we talking the backup quarterback? Because I'm pretty sure Jacob Eason's the backup quarterback. Do you think we're going to win week 1? I haven't seen the actual schedule. Hold on. Let me see if it's actually out. Colts 2021 schedule. Yeah, it's all still to be determined. So I don't know. And I'm on the schedules right now, and it's still saying to be determined. So I don't know. I mean, if you have a link and but it depends upon who we play. John Davis says we never win week 1. We sometimes, now we haven't in a long time, but remember we have a preseason this year, so it's possible. All right, so your question was about the quarterback. Yeah, Jacob Eason will be the number 2 guy. Just Plain Folks says, don't underestimate how bad morale was in Philly with the split locker room. They didn't like his religious or political views, and it got pretty poisonous. The election is over, and we're past all that here. All right, Plain Folks, I get. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the political. I don't really do that, but what he's saying is right. There was a lot of poison in that locker room, especially against Wentz in certain situations. And then, of course, the media was pouncing on that as well. So that happens. You was referencing who will be the vet backup quarterback. We have a backup quarterback, actually. We have 3 quarterbacks right now on the Indianapolis Colts. Give me a moment and I'll tell you who he is. I can't remember his name, but we do have one. Sliding down, his name is Jalen Morton. Now, he was a rookie last year. And then we have, of course, Jacob Eason, who was a rookie last year. So we have 2 rookies and Carson Wentz. Could they go out and get a veteran? It's possible. But I think they feel good about having Jacob Eason there as the number 2. I guess, yeah, Brian says, I have not seen dates on any schedule. Neither have I. That's why I was wondering. Because I haven't seen one. I mean, I've been looking. I ain't seen those out yet. Mick the Dog says, based on historical trends and the most recent info, the NFL schedule release 2020 date will likely be Thursday, May 13th. He's already got it at 7:30 p.m., 22 seconds, right? Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's about the approximate time that they generally always post them. Yeah, Brian, I don't either. I haven't even looked at his film, so I don't know. I don't even know if he has film. Not a problem, Deb Best. She says, thanks for the info. I like Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins wouldn't be a bad backup. Just Plain Folks says, what happens if Eason balls out in the preseason and Wentz starts 0-3? Depends on the situation. The Colts legitimately could start out 0-3 and Wentz be balling out. You know, what if we start out 0-3 and we lose because the opponent scored 38, 44, 52, you know, but the Colts are scoring like 31, 38, 41, you know, in those games, but we still lost. Can't blame that on the offense. That would be a defense situation. So it really depends upon the situation in that aspect. I mean, that's just how I see it. I mean, Wentz could play well and still be and still start out 0-3. Chicken Blogs, if the Colts drop the tackle, should they look for someone who's good technically but may lack some athleticism, or draft a raw athlete who will need to be coached up? All right, first off, when it comes to tackle, athleticism is nice, and obviously Ballard likes that. In my opinion, you want a technical guy at left tackle. Okay? Now, at guard, both guard positions, I think you could get away with getting someone who's just absolutely a stud, but being a physical stud. But at tackle, you got to be sound technically, because if you're not, you're going to get beat a lot early, no matter how athletic you are. LaRaven Clark had athleticism. That's right. That's true. Nick says, way I see it, Wentz doesn't have to be great to win with your defense, referring to the Colts. He just needs to not make mistakes. And that's all we asked of Phillip Rivers too, right? Don't make mistakes. And he had one of his best. Everybody was throwing this huge fit. Rivers was throwing so many interceptions, you know, the year before, 20 picks. Oh, no. And then he goes to the Colts. I think, what did he throw, 11 last year? You know, Wentz, before last year, when he threw the amount of interceptions he had, which I don't think was 20. Was it like 17, I think, or something like that? But still, before that, I mean, he was averaging 7 interceptions a year. So I honestly, I'm not too worried about that. I think Wentz will do fine. Joe Schmidt, what's up? Thanks for being here. We will start 0-1 because we don't win week 1 games. It's been like, what, 10 years? I think it's been 6. But either way, yeah, I get what you're saying. It would be nice to see us win one. I mean, it was a while. We started 0-2 for a few years straight until last season. So, you know, the next step is to win the week 1. Okay. Phillip threw 9 picks. I thought it was 11, but okay. Rivers noodle arm late to the sidelines against the Browns cost us that game. There was a couple issues. What cost us the game legitimately was the fact that our starting left tackle, Anthony Costanzo, was out for that game, and LaRaven Clark was up against Myles Garrett. And Rivers was under pressure the entire game. That's why LaRaven Clark's no longer playing, for the Colts anymore, because he was just that bad. And Rivers had no time. None. So, yeah, that's awful. Rivers threw 9. That's fine. That's cool. Okay. Darius was also out that game, yeah. I mean, when you lose the best linebacker in football, that's a big hit. A lot of people saying that if Wentz returns to MVP form, let's remember that Phillip Rivers was not MVP form, and look what happened, right? Mick says Myles does that to a lot of guys. Yeah, but Anthony Costanzo is a different dog, right? Anthony Costanzo is a Pro Bowl left tackle and very good. He's always been a top 15 left tackle in the NFL, generally considered a top 10 left tackle. And he's a guy that was able to hold off a lot of big time. But I agree, yes, Myles is one of the best pass rushing ends in the league, So I agree, but he was Vernon. All right, Vernon was making LaRaven Clark look really, really bad. So if Vernon was making him look really bad, Myles was making him look 10 times worse. So that's what you got. All right, Mick. Guys, it's been almost an hour and 10 minutes, and it's about time for me to end this. So I want to thank everybody who was here. Please smash that like button. Hit subscribe. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to smash that notification bell. That way you're notified next time I upload or go live. Don't forget to check out the description of the video. Check out my merch shop. Like I said, I've only got 3 items in there, but as soon as I sell 6 items, that'll give me enough money in order to open the merch shop up to more items. I specifically like the coffee mug. I think it's slick as heck. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate everybody. Even the guys that's from Philly. Dan got the plan. Says that Rams, Bills, and Seahawks will be tough games. I think the entire NFC West will be tough. Thanks, Face, for being here. Hill, appreciate you. Mick, appreciate you being here. Joseph, John, and McChicken, just dropping everyone. Alpha. Mick says he just subbed and liked. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much. You did see me on I can't believe that his name is off the top of my head. Quincy. I was on Quincy's stream last week, I think. Quincy Carriers. He's a great guy. I've talked to him a few times. He was awesome. Enjoy your weekend. I will be live tomorrow. Please, all of you here, I am starting a stream at 5. Tomorrow is my 45th birthday. Okay? So I am going to have a chill birthday stream tomorrow starting at 5. Plan on running till 7. I'm going to have a bunch of guests on. I am invite anyone and everyone to show up. Okay? Hang out with me. Celebrate my birthday. We're just going to talk stories and stuff like that. Have some fun. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law. And as usual, I want you to have a good one.